Hi there, Chris Dahlke with you. This is the Müller-Rusch String Method for Violin, Book 1, Lesson 24, numbers 140 through 147. I'm not going to play or demonstrate 140, 141, or 142. These have to do with left-hand fourth finger pizzicato, and I will demonstrate just that. So on any string, you can take your pinky finger and pluck a string, right? And that is the purpose of those exercises, but it happens so infrequently in solo music or even orchestra music that I don't bother explaining that to my students unless it actually comes up in a piece of music. So I will not be demonstrating those three exercises. I am, however, going to talk about what's happening in the lower half of the page, which is the introduction of your fourth finger. So kind of exciting, because this is the last thing that we need to be able to play violin to its maximum, I suppose, is we now have all four fingers in play. If you look at the diagram, the fourth finger is a whole step above the third finger, and going across all four strings, all of the notes there are naturals. You will also note that the fourth finger letter starting on the G string is the same as the next open string. So fourth finger on the G is a D, which is the same note as open D. Fourth finger on the D string is an A, which is the same as open A. Fourth finger on the A string is an E, which is the same as open E. The only one that doesn't get its own string is fourth finger on the E string, which is a B. So that is an important thing to note, and I'm going to talk about why we need to understand that. So most people don't like using their fourth fingers. It's awkward, it's short. We have to really stretch it in order to get to the note we need in order to have the note in tune. So there are three basic reasons why we do need to use the fourth finger. And the first is tone quality. So just as I was saying, it's the same note as the next open string. So if I want to play that note, let's say I want to play a D, but I don't want to use open, I want a more mellow kind of sound, then I would use my fourth finger on the G. So here's open D. You can hear that it's kind of bright. Here is the fourth finger on the G string. Same note, but it's a little more dull. So it has a different tone quality. And that is one of the reasons why we would use our fourth fingers, is for that slightly more mellow tone to come out of our instrument. The next reason we would use fourth fingers is efficiency. And this is what I normally demonstrate to my students. If I have a pattern of notes that goes like this, and I'm constantly having to cross over for that one open A, why not use a 4 and eliminate the string crossing? Right? Much less energy needed over on the bow arm. So that is the second reason why we would use a 4, is for efficiency. The third reason is something that we've not quite covered yet, and I will talk about this at the beginning of book 2, and that is vibrato. Vibrato is an important function on all string instruments because it's the last thing that helps us to sound or emulate the human voice. So all string instruments are meant to be set up in an orchestra like a choir. The violins are the sopranos, the violas are the altos, the cellos are the tenors, and of course the double basses are the basses. So it's just like a choir. Therefore, we need to also be able to sound like we're singing. So for instance, if I sang a note, la, it's a straight note, but no vibrato. But most good singers learn how to get a good vibrato going with their voice. La, right? You learn how to do that vibrato with your vocal cords. We want to emulate that on this instrument. So if I sing the same note, and I play it on my open D, you'll notice I have no finger there, so I can't do the vibrato. It's just a straight note. The only way that I can make that note sound like a human voice is to play it with the fourth finger on the G string and apply some vibrato. So that is the third reason we would use the fourth finger, is for vibrato. And it is very difficult to learn how to do a fourth finger vibrato for most people because it is the shortest finger, and it's the furthest away from your thumb. Therefore, it's the most awkward to try and do that action. But again, I'm not going to talk about that here specifically. I will do that when we hit book 2. This is number 144. I'm only going to demonstrate this exercise other than the other 3 at the lower because it's the same exercise 4 times in a row. Each one is on each of the different strings. So I'm only going to demonstrate number 144. Notice they have 4s printed underneath where they want you to use your fourth finger. So this exercise is done entirely on the D string. There is no open A's involved as you go through. Okay, so the other 3 exercises are absolutely identical on the other 3 strings.